You're still using the Guts build in this economy? Well, these 5 new dexterity-based weapons will help you not only stand out, but will help you with your Guts problem. These weapons are easily accessible within the first 20 minutes of the DLC, including one of the new weapon types being the Backhand Blades. For this guide, I'm starting at the very first site of grace, and I will be leading you guys to get each and every single weapon in case you don't have them. So to get the Backhand Blades, it's actually pretty close to where you start. The ride is going to be about 2 minutes long. It's really not that far from the starting grace, and there's no enemies between you and the weapon location. There will be a very large fire giant cage, whatever the heck, but so long as you avoid him and just ride on the right side, you should be fine. There will be a group of enemies here that you can kill if you want to. They're optional, but once you take care of these people, the weapon is going to be on the altar. The Backhand Blades are really easy to get used to and are similar to curved swords. The only difference is it compromises a bit of DPS from the dual curved swords, but it will give you very high mobility as a trade-off. These are some of the most agile weapons I've ever used in any FromSoft game. It's super fluid, very easy to mash the attack button, even though this goes against everything I know, and it even has a unique attribute with its running attack. When you do a running attack, you'll be able to keep running after you do the running attack, so it's very easy to blitz smaller enemies and keep moving. Plus, what's even better is Ash of War Blind Spot will give you invincibility frames when you do the sidestep. It performs very well in terms of keeping up DPS while evading attacks once you get the hang of it. The next weapon is in Bellarat Tower Settlement. This is not that far from where we just came from. If you take the main path and go on the left, you should see a site of grace. Keep heading down that path and you will see these large doors to open. After you open those doors, keep walking straight and you should get into the Tower Settlement. So I'll be starting from the small private altar grace. From here, you want to walk out the door, kill the enemy on the right because he has no drip, he has no fashion, and he has not watched this guide, because if he did, he would have been mix matching his armor sets like people should. If you wear the same set, I'm sorry, but that's kind of boring. So after you pack him, there will be a lot of people here. They're not that strong, but they can catch you off guard and do a lot of damage if you're not being careful, so just play it safe and take them on one by one. You can backstab them, so you can try to fish for backstabs like that. But after you take care of these enemies, you're going to want to head to the right and climb up the ladder. There will be a couple of birds on this roof. I hate these birds, I really do. They're kind of like smaller deathrite birds, but somehow more annoying. Once you hit them and they're in the air, they will fall to the ground, so you can kill them easier, but I really hate these birds. The only bird I like is the one you're seeing on screen, which, if you're a new viewer, his name is Marlo. Say hi to him, he's 1 year old. There will be a strong enemy coming up. He is kind of hard to kill, I will be fair, but so long as you play it safe, you should be fine. You cannot backstab him, so that's going to be something you'll have to be aware of. If you spam Ashes of War, you should take him out. It's not PvP, so I will not hold you against it. I do the same thing when I'm playing PvE. But after you take that guy out, the person that we're going to get this weapon from, he's going to be up these stairs. He's a new enemy type. He is very crazy. He's kind of hard to deal with, but we're actually going to run past them because this is the enemy that we're going to be farming. There's a grace right up above him, so don't fight him yet. Get the grace just in case he kills you, because if he does, you'll be able to respawn there. So after you pass him, this is going to be the farming route that I used on screen to get his whole set. It might take long, but use all your item find discovery boosts. For me, I use the silver pickled foul foot, and I actually combine that with one of the new items that's within the DLC, being the silver horn, which will also stack with the silver pickled foul foot. You can also use the silver tear mask, which is what I used. It will lower your attack, but it will raise your arcane stat, which is what helps with your item find discovery. To farm him, I have made a pretty consistent route. What I would do is I would usually run down the stairs, and you can walk up to him and backstab him. So you don't need to crouch, you can just walk up to him. He's not going to detect you, and you can already start the fight off with a lot of damage. For me, I like to use the Ritual Sword Talisman because I'll get more damage when my health is full, but in whatever way you can kill him as efficiently as possible, keep running this route. The moment he dies, if you don't see a white spark drop from his body, it means he did not drop an item. Just run back, reload the area, and just rinse and repeat until you get the weapons. I'm sorry, there's no other way to get this weapon as far as I'm aware. If it's not dropping and you're feeling down, just remember, this is the feeling that you're fighting for. This is the reaction you're fighting to get.
I got it! Hooray! Hooray! Jolly good show.
Now this is what you put on the thumbnail. This is how I blow up. Cursed Cirblade is mainly for the cool factor, and I love being cool. It's not much different from the Backhand Blades in its moveset, but its unique Ash of War is where it's at. The spinning slash into the axe kick, how does your opponent react to that? Honestly, let me know. Pairing it with the Rotten Sword Insignia and Millicent's Prosthesis helps to give it extra damage, as well as using Alexander's Great Shard. The same perks from the Backhand Blade applies here, but now with the added benefit of the Ash of War. At +9, it has a B scaling and dexterity. I have no more ancient somber smithing stones, please don't harass me, but it should do great damage with high dex. Now to get one of my favorite weapons in the game, Malay, we'll be starting at Castle Front Grace, which is not far from where we just came from. You just take a right as opposed to going to the left to go into the castle. There will be a Troll Knight here, which you can defeat pretty easily. After that, you're going to want to follow where I'm going on screen across the bridge, and it's actually going to be pretty close to this site of grace. The weapon is going to be on top of this tower, so after you kill these enemies after making a left, climb up the ladder and Malay will be in the chest. It's so fun to say this. Malay is actually one of the newest weapon types, and it doesn't disappoint with its great rapier inspired moveset. Because it's a hybrid between a straight sword and a great sword, it is on the lighter side, being 6.5 weight, making it a great option for low endurance builds. This weapon's moveset, I'm calling it now, this is going to be one of the best movesets in Elden Ring. Just look at how fast it is. It has thrust attacks, charge attacks are multi-hit. It's hard to roll away from it. I can see this doing well against bosses, but extremely well in PvP, which is what I'm mainly interested in. But even if you're not, this is going to be a really good weapon. The jump heavy attack is really good. Pretty much anything that has a multi-hit is going to be really good. That's why bleed builds are a thing. That's why Rivers of Blood was so dominant, and probably a lot of people still use it. But this weapon is easily one of my favorite new additions in the game. Even if you're not a dexterity build, the damage scales well with other infusions. While we're still here at the Castle Front Grace, there's going to be another weapon that's very close to us, being the Perfumer Bottle, another new weapon type that was added in the DLC. To get this, literally run backwards to where the ballista was, make a left, and kill this guy because he will alert the whole village that you're here. You do not want the whole block to spin on you, it's not fun. From there, you can take out the ops one by one, and after you're done, your reward will be inside of this chest. Perfumer bottles. This was something I did not expect to enjoy as much as I do. It's super lightweight, so it can fit on almost any build, and on top of that, it still gives you the option to put Ashes of War on it, so something like Storm Stomp could be used as a way to get opponents off of you. You can even dual wield it and finally start to firebend. It's great. The Avatar run might finally be upon us, bros. Be aware that even though you can put Ashes of War on it, you cannot change the infusion on it. Plus, when you're attacking, there is a small delay between you swinging your hands and the fire actually coming out. But besides that, great weapon, highly recommend. To get the throwing knives, another new weapon type in Elden Ring's DLC, we'll be taking a right down this path to get into a dungeon. I know, very exciting. For this route, there's not going to be a lot of strong enemies on the path there, so you don't need to worry much, but follow the path until you get to this small divot and keep heading down there until you get to the dungeon. It's not a main story dungeon, it's more like the hero graves from the base game if you remember those, so it's not going to be too difficult, but it is pretty cool to explore, and I highly recommend you explore it after you get the weapon. Walking in from this hole, some things to expect. There are a lot of lava slugs trying to give you head, so watch out for those. They will drop from the ceiling and suck on your head, whichever head they choose to suck on. I'm not going to complete that joke, but when you keep just look on the ceiling and make sure they don't drop on your head. From here, roll off and head straight until you get to the wall and make a left. From there, the weapon is going to be on the corpse in front of the giant. You can pack him up, just hit his butt gem, crystal butt gem. Is he a part of Steven Universe? He might be a part of Steven Universe because he has a gem inside his body. But after you kill him, just keep wailing on it. You can backstab fish him pretty easily. You will get your throwing knife. The throwing knives are so cool in concept. Sure, they may not do a lot of damage, but they make up for it in the fact that it's a throwable weapon that you can reuse. It's like a throwing knife, but it actually scales off of you much better and does a lot more damage. It's like a bow, but usable. Plus, what's even better, you can still put offensive Ashes of War on it to make up for its lack of short-range options. For me, I like to use Sword Dance, but you can use anything else that suits your playstyle. By the way, the weapon can still riposte whenever you parry or break an enemy's guard. It's so good. It's a ranged weapon that can still function up close. One of my favorite weapon types in the DLC by far, and I highly recommend you checking it out. Like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and let me know if you want to see any more coverage on the Elden Ring DLC. Take care, be good, love and light.